How did you prepare for the role? Did you do anything specific for the character research or analysis? Considering how we just threw the character at you, we're like, "Here's Michael."
Um, Preparing for the role, it wasn't really much outside of like I'm being a broken record. It's just how I normally prepare when it comes to like character auditions. There's always that one character trait I really like. I relate that to me. I'm like, hey, that's me, and then I like to hyperfixate on that. And I'll like from what I've done in the past, it'll I really like that way of going around like, oh yeah, oh yeah. Everything just kind of like uh jigsaw puzzles itself together when my mind kind of focuses on that.
I guess
Like
like another question would be, it's like, would you have preferred to make him more goofy or like give more like exaggerated feel to the character?
I think the way I took him was the most comforting way.
Hmm.
Because it's just a little bit of Michelangelo is a little bit of me. And like I don't really put too much emphasis, or at least I don't think I put too much emphasis on the way I speak.
Mm-hmm.
So when I talk so when it's me and Michelangelo, it's literally the same as just saying me and me.
It's me and me, just me
Yeah.
and me. How do you approach portray an emotional range in the character? Did you think the character really had much emotional range? I don't really think we even really wrote him to be emotional.
It was more or less that like the museum the museum date. The museum date was like where the emotions sort of released, and in a different way, like not in a different way where it was more like, oh, this guy just really likes art. So when it came to like those moments where he was really so focused on all those pieces of artwork, I was like, oh wow, he's going really into it.
What
Wait,
is normal?
I do this. It's like, wait, I do this. I do this.
I,
It's like when you know when you like when you're trying to tell a friend about like something something like you really like I'm really trying to think off the top of my head here. I really
do you
like you know how friends like really like organizing like their files on like I don't know like Microsoft OneNote or something like that.
Yeah.
I really like it when I have multiple folders and I have multiple tabs that are labeled like really specific things. And when you relate those hyperfixations back to Michelangelo, he's literally like, this looks so beautiful, man. Like, this is perfect. Like, you could go on, like, it's the things you would probably make a PowerPoint presentation and then give that to your friends about.
He's like, this is a work of art. He's like,
Yeah,
this is so adorable.
Like, he wouldn't just tell you, he would, like, be ready to set up a PowerPoint to tell you why he loves it. And that's sort of what that's sort of what I thought about, especially when I was like when I got to those lines.
I read a line where he's like, exactly, what is normal? And then at the end, I think the only range of emotion you really had was at the end where he's like, I'm gonna show you how it's really done, or something, like with the seagull. Like he got really upset.
Like they ruined the piece. Like they ruined the piece.
Yeah.
They ruined his art piece. So it's like,
yeah.
I worked on that.
Yeah.
Like, I worked on that, man.
Yeah, but I wish I could have gave you more range of motion, but like he really wasn't in the script. I was just like where's Michaelangelo? Like literally, it was so funny. You appear in like a Silver's route, I think, for like one line, and it was just like, why is he here? Like you were in the whole route, and then it's just like, oh, hey girl. I was just like, this ain't no Michael. I'm like, apparently he's trying to flirt with Arya in a route that wasn't even his. I'm like, this makes no sense, but we're gonna leave it in anyways. That was kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, what would this man even think about flirting? It was kind of funny in hindsight when you're like, I don't even think he would flirt with anyone. Like, honestly, how would you think Michaelangelo would take a compliment or someone flirting with him?
I'd first even question if it was a case of flirting or a compliment.
Like, let's say they're like, oh,
I'm just confused. I'd be confused.
They're like, oh my goodness, Michaelangelo, your hair is so soft and silky. It's like a brush. It's like a brush.
I feel like, oh yeah. No, it's like, oh yeah, I took a shower this morning. But it's just like, I'd be like, don't we all take showers?
Oh my goodness. Like, even if the person's like, I'm trying to flirt with you, it's like, what's flirting? Like, I don't know, like a big Goku moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me see. Describe your recording process for Arya's Choice, setup, recording schedule, etc.
Recording process. So, when I recorded it initially, like, well, not initially, but when I recorded my lines for it, what was it? It was a little weird for me because I didn't have like what I have now in my booth. So like, I was like pretty much working on broke boy mindsets. So
we need all the lines recorded now.
No, it wasn't that. It was more like it wasn't accessible. So like, I had my lines. Pretty much what I had to do was I wasn't able to have an easy way of like looking at the lines itself unless I used remote sharing. So like, I used my phone and I used it to stream. I used my computer to stream its screen onto my phone using remote sharing, and that's how I was able to see the lines on the script semi-decently, and it was very, very annoying. Well, not annoying, but it's a very tedious process. And the worst part is like, because remote sharing only shares one screen, that meant I had to keep like switching windows from the lines and then to my DAW, like Audacity, just to make sure that the lines that were recorded were at a good enough level. And sometimes when I was recording, that didn't happen. Sometimes the lines were still way too quiet. After I did some of my recordings, I was like, wow, that was really great. Let's stop the recordings and let's look. And the audio levels are pathetic. I'm like, why? And when it... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. What were you saying?
When it came to like, in terms of scheduling, that's rough because yeah, my recording schedules are always inconsistent due to my day job. My day job's like I always get my work schedule for the upcoming week, so I only know the days I'm able to record for that week alone. If anybody's asking me to do something like asking me for time beyond that, I'm like, sorry, I literally can't. It's almost impossible.
I don't know why, but I just randomly thought he was a mechanic. I was gonna be like, chat, he's a mechanic, y'all. It's like, I don't think he's a mechanic. It would have been kind of funny if you really were a mechanic.
It's the US flexible scheduling that always gets us.
How did you collaborate with directors or other voice actors during recording? So I know you guys didn't really interact a lot because everyone has different schedules. When you record, do you like to actually like have a let's say a weekly meeting with like other people to get to know your crewmates and like the other voice actors to like build a dynamic up, or like do you just like to do stuff solo?
Yeah, I'm a pretty solitary person. Like, there's there's definitely strengths and weaknesses to that, especially like in terms of community, like building up a community. I'm just that type of person who kind of likes being off to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like that's just how I am. I'm always like really uncomfortable when I'm like with people I'm not really familiar with.
Mm.
And especially with like times where it's like, oh yeah, I want to meet up to like talk about like the recording session. I'm like, sure, if I can. And like 99% of the time it's sure, I can't. Sorry.
Psych. I can't.
I'm sorry.
No.
Sorry guys.
Did you get any feedback or directions from the director that was helpful?
Let's see. It was more like it was more so of me just asking like questions for the sake of clarity. Like, yeah, more so on like the technical side, like, how should I be like recording these lines? How should I edit them or cut them in a way? And like just having those answers made it easier for me to just be like, okay, what's the best thing I can do so I'm not being a burden to the rest of the dev team. And that's kind of what I like doing the most when it comes to being part of the collaborative process. It's like, what can I do that doesn't end up being a burden down the line for you guys?
I saw or I think the voice director said that you had followed him prior to casting call. So like I'm not sure if like or maybe it was someone else, I'm not sure. But do you do casting calls often, or like try to look for opportunities a lot?
Like looking for auditions, it is a very like yeah, I do seek out a lot of auditions, but with how my schedule is and just like how much time I have for like work, because it's how I plan out my days is like really hard. And why am I flatlining? Sorry, could you repeat that question? I just kind of flatlined.
It was about like casting calls, like how do you, or like the voice director said like that you followed him, or like you're actively following him, so like that like you were gonna be someone who would be enthusiastic for the role, so like how do you find roles and so forth?
Oh yeah, like so I go for auditions when I can, pretty much. And I know there's voice actors out there that do like millions of auditions like every day, like every week, and I'm like, I'm not that person. I just find the ones I want to do that I can definitely put out the time to do, and I just want to do them the best way I can. I always this is not indicative of or combative to anybody, to any like voice actor who's like doing their thing, doing their shtick. But I am definitely the person who is a quality over quantity type of person. If I see something and I really like it, I want to make sure that I'm doing it with my best foot forward. I really don't want to do casting calls or auditions and just kind of look back or like listen over to my recordings before I even submit the auditions and be like, nah, I just don't feel it. Nah, I just don't like this one.
So how did you even find Artist Choice is my question. Like, because I'm still kind of surprised that people really were finding the audition, honestly, because I'm not really sure how casting call works. So like I don't know. It was
Well-
just kind of exciting just to kind of know people were interested in such an indie project.
Oh, I think for me, I was excuse me. I think. Oh, yeah, I remember. I was just going through Casting Call Club, and what I do because I also don't do. I also try to avoid fan projects. So what I do in Casting Call Club is I always like filter out original, unpaid, or paid. And I think Arya's Choice just kind of like just kind of came in like, on one of those results of like original unpaid, and I'm like, ooh, sweet, this one looks really interesting.
Yeah, no, I kind of try to avoid doing. Well, you know, this is my first project in general, but like fan projects, I just feel like, I guess like for voice acting, fan projects worse, but like if you want to build a game development career, I feel like making your own thing kind of would probably make more sense. But I guess you could also gain like a rep from making fan games, but at the cost
Like-
that like, people come find you, be like, take it down.
Yeah, it's like that's like the issue of like copyright and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
if you're trying to do like a fan project that's commercial, or you're trying to really advertise yourself as like this like especially as like a voice actor, when you're trying to, you know, advertise yourself as the voice of Sonic, when you clearly know there's you know, Roger Craig Smith as the voice of Sonic, you really don't want to tell people that, yeah, I was the voice of Sonic in this fan project. It's like that's where like the lines of like fan project, it never really meshed with me. So like I tried, like that's like kind of where I got my footing, but I knew immediately like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be doing maybe I shouldn't be doing fan projects. But it again, it's like not, this is not like a dunk on like people who would love to do fan projects. Like anything, any kind of practice is fine. I think whatever you want to do, if you like doing it, that's totally fine with me. You do you guys, you do you.
For one, I can't believe you said Roger Craig Smith instead of Ryan Drummond or Jason Griffin. Those are best songs.
Yes, they're also Sonic, but it was just because like Roger Craig Smith just like voiced Sonic for so long. Like it's crazy. I'm so glad you even remember both their names.
You can't forget Steve Urkel Sonic.
Yes, you cannot forget Steve Urkel from Sonic Underground.
Jamal. I was just like, it's so crazy when you even remember him. It's just like, I can't believe you're right. Anywho, I was gonna say is this your first time being a lead?
I think so. I believe so. No, I actually, prior to this project, I had a project before this where I was a lead. And like, it was still just like super shocking because like, it never really hits me until like way later where I was like, oh, I was a lead character. Oh, that's crazy.
Imagine if you're like a fan's favorite. You're like, I want to see more Michaelangelo, even though he was kind of side character. Like,
Yeah,
it's like, give me more Michelangelo. But like, it's kind of funny how you didn't realize the reference of Michelangelo. So, do you know Love and Deep Space?
no, I don't.
You know? Oh my goodness. So, Love and Deep Space is like this one 3D otome game that all the girls are yapping about currently. And there's this character named Raphael, and he's an artist. And someone was trying to make, or Kumar was trying to have a character who was an artist in this game. And I was just like, wait a second, Raphael? I was like, you know what Raphael is, right? I was like, that's a Ninja Turtle. I was like, we should name our character after a Ninja Turtle too.
Is that why he's named Michelangelo?
Like, yeah, because they're named after the Renaissance
Wait, hold up.
artists.
Hold up. Is that does that mean that's why his jacket is also orange too?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I had sent the voice director. I was just like, hey, if we don't have a sprite for Michelangelo, here's this sprite, and it was a picture of a turtle I made. It was an artist turtle. I was like, send this to the artist if we don't make Michelangelo. you were gonna just be a turtle. But I was surprised no one picked up on that yet. So yeah, you were named after the artist, but also after the Ninja Turtle. And I was just like, I'm surprised no one has asked that question yet. And I'm just like, I wonder if anyone's ever gonna ask that question. Because I'm like, Raphael, huh? No one ever put 2 and 2 together. Okay. And so I was just like, I'm gonna have Michelangelo. I was just like, your hair also was like, it's like orange red. So like, and then your sweater is orange. But like the orange, fully orange hair didn't work. So I was like, we're gonna have to put red or whatever it was. Yeah, because that showed it was like brownish. So, so I was just like, I wonder who's could ever pick up that he was based off the Ninja Turtle. Like that's why I gave you the whole hoodie design too. So like it was just kind of funny. It's just like the green pencil. Yeah.
Dude, that goes on like the project's like, you know, like fandom page, you know, what the trivia section is.
Yeah. About Michelangelo based off the turtle.
Like no way, because like if anybody somehow connects the dots, that's crazy.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's just gonna be a fun fact if someone ever like asks you about this game and you're just like, yeah, it was based off of a turtle.